Hello! Hi guys, Twi, what's up everybody? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. I know we don't normally stream on Sundays, but today is the day after my first release. Thank you for all the initial support on Starfinder, I'm really happy about it. So today we're just gonna be talking about a lot of stuff, I guess. Yeah. Hello Semi, how's it going, bro? Yeah, I'm really excited. Oh, also I was gonna, instead of using the regular BGM today, I was gonna put on the Starfinder instrumental, because this song, I mean, it's the whole point of this stream, right? Is that we got the EP out now, so we may as well lean into it a little bit, you know. But yeah, today I'm gonna be talking a lot about the Starfinder EP, of course, that just came out yesterday, and we're gonna go over a bunch of the songs. I'm thinking I might do like a little live performance for some of them too, maybe. Haven't fully decided, to be honest, but we're mostly just gonna be hanging today anyway. I'm really happy to have everything up and going. So yeah, we're gonna go through all the songs and kind of like my holistic experience of making a music release for the first time, because, you know, it was definitely an experience. I guess as like a brief kind of intro to everything, you know, the Starfinder EP has been in the works for quite some time. I don't remember exactly when I started, but I can find that the first time I reached out to Harusio-san, who's the one that did my my album cover here, this beautiful album sleeve right now for Starfinder. That was April 10th, which is 5 months ago almost. So I've been working on this project for, I think, in the vicinity of about half a year, which is kind of crazy that it started way back in April, considering that we only debuted in March. I didn't realize that it was that long ago. Actually, it's kind of crazy to look back on that. But I will say it was such a pleasure to work with them. They made such a great album cover. I really love it. I feel like it encapsulated exactly what kind of like aesthetic I was going for perfectly. So of course, shout out to them. And I guess in terms of like getting into writing the songs, of course, the first one, the big one, obviously, is Starfinder. And Starfinder as a song, like as the current song that was released, borderline shouldn't exist, which is really funny to say, because a lot of people actually ended up saying it was their favorite song out of the people that have sort of given me feedback on the EP, which I'm really glad that it resonated with a lot of people, because this song is very special to me, of course. But originally, Starfinder was actually, it was already decided as like the name of the EP and what was gonna be the title track before I even found the instrumental for it or had like a super concrete like plan of what the song would look like. And Starfinder was originally supposed to be at least mostly, if not entirely, a song written in Japanese. So I have another artist friend that I've worked with in the past on this channel, my friend Mokyu. They drew the art for my cover of The Vampire way back at debut, if you guys remember that. But as we were just kind of talking about stuff, you know, she said like, oh, I actually used to like help, I think she said that she like helped write songs in like a little band or something. But anyway, she said that she would help like check if I wanted to try writing Japanese lyrics. And so I did that, and I kept trying, but I just couldn't get it to come off the way that I wanted it to. Like I was trying really hard, and I could not like get the idea I had through. And so eventually I was just like, okay, this isn't gonna work. I'm just gonna write all the songs in English, just whatever. I got to sprinkle a little Japanese into Galaxy Wide anyway later, which of course we'll talk about, but you know, so it's kind of a bit roundabout, but it's cool how Starfinder actually came to be this song. Yeah, I know, the album cover is like so good. I was really impressed because Harusio, they said they've never worked on like an album cover before. They've never even really done sort of like illustrations that are involve like using text as well. So they're not as familiar with doing this kind of like work. But like I love, if you look at like the way that this like little sparkles are integrated into the fonts in like the word Starfinder, I feel like that captures my aesthetic like extremely well. And I was super impressed. It was so nicely done, honestly. It was so nicely done. But yeah, so I guess I'm excited to sort of go over all the songs. I'm gonna do this kind of like Genius style. I'm just gonna kind of walk through all the lyrics of all my songs from the EP, talk about like the inspiration. We'll probably end each song by like doing a little live performance, maybe. I think could be fun. I didn't really like warm up for that, but we'll do it anyway. But I do want to say a small trigger warning. Some of you guys, I assume you guys will be fine, but just a couple things that I do want to sort of mention before we start like delving into everything, and I give you a peek into my mind writing this EP. Obviously there's some vulgar language. I don't think any of you guys care about that. If you've been in my community at all, of course you're not going to care about that, but this will go over some topics of like mental illness, depression, like suicidality, potentially, and it will also go into some. It could potentially go into some directions of like societal issues and like political talk. I usually like to keep my space very free of like politics, and I will say as well, like, if you don't agree with me on anything that I talk about, that is not by any means a reason to feel excluded from the community or anything like that. It's totally fine. It's just I felt that there was, I think particularly Wish Upon a Star, I have some like more externalized lyrics that I like sort of talk about perspective on, and I may say things that some people might not fully agree with. That's totally fine. You know, but I feel like I wanted to sort of like put that out there, be respectful to anybody who's sensitive to topics like this. If you feel like you're not comfortable, no sweat at all. No sweat at all. But anyway, we are going to start talking through Starfinder. I guess the song. Actually, I can leave this up for a second. I'm not going to pull up the lyrics immediately. But, so, when I wrote Starfinder as an EP, what I kind of had in mind was I wanted to achieve two main things. One of them is I wanted to have something that I could consider like a send-off to writing like full-blown rap for quite a while. So I got into songwriting and in a lot of ways doing music stuff through writing rap like 5 maybe 6 years, no, not 6 years ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago now. And I never released anything. I have probably 15 or 20 songs that I wrote that I never put out under any name online ever. Nobody knows about them really. A couple friends have heard them in the past, but I never ended up putting anything out. And I've definitely moved in a direction with music as I've like practiced a lot and gained more confidence, to where my heart is with like pop and singing and like ballads and rock and things like that. That's like the longer term direction that I want. I would rather be a singer that can rap than a rapper that can sing, if that makes sense, right? But I did want to kind of pay homage to my roots in songwriting and really try and you know, just put rap to rest for myself for a while as a genre, at least under my discography. If anybody is like, hey, I want you to like do a song with me, maybe I'll be like, yeah, sure, you know, like one of my friends wants it or something. But for my own personal stuff, I wanted to do that. And I also wanted to do it because I made this entire EP using like beats off of YouTube that I just kind of leased rights for. So it was a lot cheaper. That's the reason I could afford to do 4 originals instead of having something custom produced, which is like a direction I want to go, but I still need to be making more money before I feel like comfortable kind of going in and investing on that, right? But that being said, you know, this was kind of a way for me to sort of like put to test like all the rap writing that I've had in the past and finally put something out into the world. And I do think that these 4 songs are pretty indisputably the best 4 I've written in my life, so I'm very happy about that. And then on top of that, Starfinder as a whole was meant to encapsulate my experience just of life over the past like 4 or 5 years, kind of like pandemic type era, maybe like Starfinder, you could argue, could like tiptoe a little earlier, but pretty much like pandemic era life, and kind of going through that. So, you know, we'll get into like the roots of all of that, of course, as we go. But Starfinder was kind of like the tip of the iceberg, a bit of like a snapping point for myself pretty early into the pandemic, because I had some stuff going on in my life pretty much right before the pandemic hit. And then that just kind of like compounded it. And then, you know, Cut Loose and Galaxy Wide were me sort of like letting go of a lot of things and like riding that high for a while. And also I just wanted to make some like fun songs. And then Wish Upon a Star was kind of like the more sobering song of like closer to where we are now. So I'm excited to go through everything. It's a very like chronological ordered type scheme throughout the album. I'm very excited to talk about it. But yeah, let's get into it. So I'm gonna apologize as well. One more trigger warning. This is in light mode. I keep my lyrics in Google Docs, okay? I don't have dark mode for this, so I'm sorry for anybody that has sensitive eyes if you're watching. But we'll have to live with it. We'll have to make do with the fact, even if it's in light mode. But yeah, let's talk about everything. So, Starfinder. We got the I'm sorry for the flashbang. Flashbang out. So the chorus for Starfinder, the entire thing was built around having this sort of like hook of like, I just need some time to find, like the just need some time to find myself thing. That was the whole motif that this version of Starfinder came to, because it'll tie in later to the EP. But Starfinder as a whole, this song is a song of discontentment. It's a song of like self-hatred and like guilt. There's a lot of heavy emotion that goes into Starfinder in a lot of ways. But it's also a song about like forgiveness, and it's a song about like patience and like acceptance of yourself and your own situation, you know what I mean? So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I will say again. So you know, I did mention that there are some themes of like depression and suicidality and things like that in the EP. This song is the primary catalyst of that. So I've been in a way better space for a long time. This is years in the past now, and I've been feeling great. Especially, you know, thanks to everybody's support. I really appreciate that, of course, as well. But even aside from that, I've just been doing a lot better. Hold on, my window is open and they're like cutting grass or something. I'm gonna close my window 1 sec. Okay. Better keep this private anyway. So in my past, I was extremely depressed, if you can believe that or not. You know, I tend to be like pretty like bubbly and like energetic nowadays, I feel like, especially, you know, on stream obviously, but even offline, you know, I would consider myself a pretty happy person. But back then I was horribly depressed, you know. I was just very directionless in life. You know, I didn't know it at the time, but I had ADHD. I probably have autism. I will say that because I'm still technically not diagnosed, but I would say, you know, I exhibit a lot of signs. I have for a long time, and I have like siblings with autism. I have like very direct genetic ties to it, so it's quite likely. But this is to say, I was different from a lot of kids growing up. You know what I mean? I was very quiet, kind of, you know, a bit reserved, off to the side, and I suffered from a little phenomenon that's picked up on the internet a lot nowadays, called gifted kid syndrome, if you will, which is like, you do really good in school, everybody thinks that you're smart and you're talented, and in reality you're just kind of like brute forcing, you don't study anything. And then it catches up with you slowly but surely, but you just have this like identity of like being somebody who doesn't fail in life, or like who can like pick things easily. And so, you know, when I was younger, I kind of had it like that, but I started to be depressed, you know, even in like middle school. I stopped enjoying school nearly as much, and it really hit me in high school. And I was just kind of autopiloting my life for a long time. You know, I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I had very loose aspirations, but they weren't rooted in anything. It was almost like things that, you know, it's like, this is like a societally acceptable thing for me to say that I'm gonna go do in the future or whatever, right? There was no like personal vision behind it, I guess is a good way to put it, right? And slowly, I was always a straight A student, but I was never like the smartest. You know, I went to a school with a lot of really smart people in like a specialized program, and you know, you'll have kids, you know, I remember at my old high school, there were a lot of kids that would be like, oh, I failed, and you would check and they would have like an 85, and then they would be like, no, you don't understand, brown fail is anything under 90 or something. You have people say stuff like that, right? Their standards were just so high, but they actually had work ethic, you know what I mean? Like in hindsight, it makes more sense to me. Because, you know, obviously, I'm sure their parents were very strict on that. My parents were super lenient, still are. In a lot of ways, I appreciate that. But, you know, just perspective on things, right? I was always like a right around the 80s kind of student for the most part. But, you know, slowly but surely, even though I was still holding 80s, it was getting harder. I was super uninterested in everything I was learning. And my escape had always been gaming. I would go home from school. I was really fast with homework, and I would always do it at lunch or during random breaks, other classes, whatever, so that I would be able to get away from school as much as I could. And I would go home and I would game with my friends. But even then, I still had some like issues, and it's gonna sound really trivial, but I think something important to remember is when it comes to mental health, literally anything can be a contributing factor, and there's no such thing as like an issue that is too small or like, you know, not valid or whatever. For the most part, I would say it can really be anything in a combination of circumstances, right? So I had it easy. I was coming home and I was just playing games all day, but I was hanging out with my friends and we would play a lot of competitive games, and I was consistently the worst at every game we would play, pretty much, no matter like how many hours I was putting in. And in hindsight, my friends practiced harder, they practiced smarter, but I would just throw myself at it and I would just keep being worse than everyone at everything. At school, I was like not as good. I had no motivation at school, and slowly things like that can compound. You know, I ended up developing some like really nasty anxiety problems in school, where I would get anxiety attacks like every day, and I would have to like go home. I dropped out twice in my life. So, you know, I've been in with a lot of mental health stuff is basically what I'm trying to say. And so that kind of first time that I went through all of that, and I had this like explosion of emotions in my life just come out, just like the most like aggressively upset I think I've ever felt. It was like this huge bomb of like emotions that have just been like pushed down for my whole life. Came out all at once, and I lost my ability to feel for like 6 months, like half a year. I felt nothing but apathy in my life. Literally, I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel happy. It was hard to even say it felt neutral, because it felt like nothing. I literally would wake up like every morning and I was out of school. I had no responsibilities, and I had no idea what I was doing, frankly. I didn't care about anything. It was hard to think about why I was even alive at that point in my life, you know? And it was not like the first time, you know, before that, even like around the time where I was just like going through a lot of really intensive stuff. You know, sometimes you can end up in this headspace where it's like not necessarily feeling like suicidal in the sense that like you actively want to die, but more like you don't want to live the life you're living. Like you can't find a solution. There's like nothing there. And you just feel like you need to like disappear. Like the only way for the equation to solve is that you're gone, right? And the truly sad part about that is it's half right. Because most of the time when you are in a situation like that, the truth is you can't make that situation fixed sometimes. But the reality is that you need to put yourself in a different situation, and not that like you're the problem. It's just that you don't necessarily mesh with an environment, right? So what I think the real key in these 4 lines is that it's okay to take a detour in life, to be behind, to you know, walk a road off of the beaten path, and don't worry so much about this like nagging societal pressure that you like have to be doing productive things all the time and keeping on track with everybody. Sometimes the most productive time you can spend in life is to slow down and just experience and like figure out what it is that you want. Because I told you that I dropped out twice, and the first time was not voluntary. It was that huge like emotional outburst that I had. But the second time was like, I think 2021 maybe. It was 2020 or 2021. It was like right around the time that VTubers started to like get big, and you know, I'd still been streaming as a hobby for a while under a different name, but I never had like serious aspirations per se. And I've been doing YouTube for like a decade or something, like for fun. Not quite a decade, but close. And I saw VTubers and I was hooked. You know, it was everything that I loved. It was like Japanese culture, Japanese music, but like I couldn't speak Japanese at the time, and these people were like, you know, there was English VTubers that would like share that like appreciation of culture, and like the audiences were like so in sync with me as a person in that way. But you know, it would end up inspiring me to like do so many things. But at the time, I was, you know, pretty deep into high school. I was in grade 11 in like a specialized program, and it was super draining. You know, I would spend like it's like 7 hours a day at school, an extra hour to like go to and from or whatever. And then on top of that, you know, you got homework and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I would have no energy left to do anything of value. But I just felt it was different at that point in my life, because I'd looked around a bit and I found something that actually resonated with me. It was like there was one thing in my life that wasn't living on autopilot anymore, and I could feel it like just like screaming at me from like my soul to like do something, you know what I mean? I'd been just coasting through life for like way too long. And the thing is, I've always known for a long time that like going to university and just studying something for the sake of studying it and just getting a regular job like everybody else, it really wouldn't work for me very well, I don't think. I do think that I've gone through enough different experiences now and built some discipline to where if my life changed in that way that I had to, I could probably manage it and find a way, right? But I was so done with school. It was so like not in my interest, and eventually I managed to kind of just like bite that bullet and decide like, you know what, like this is what I want. And it feels like I'm robbing myself so hard to not actually try and do the one thing that is bringing me joy in life. And so, you know, that's kind of how we're here now. But the whole point of this, and something that I will always preach to people, is take some time to find yourself. If you feel like your life is on autopilot, or you're not sure about what you've been doing with your time, it could be hobbies, it could be career, it could be people that you're with, it doesn't matter. It applies to everything, right? It is okay to slow down and like check things out. You know, especially if you live out somewhere like North America, like out here, you know, if you want to go to college or university, that's expensive. In a lot of ways, it's not going to put you at any real deficit in life if you start at 19 or 20 instead of 18. But if you can actually experience something in your major before you like hop in and dump tens of thousands of dollars in tuition, it could be life-changing for you, right? Or, you know, like similarly, if you are the type of person who wants to try and do something independently in terms of like work-related things, it's, you know, everybody has different circumstances. I'm speaking from a somewhat privileged position, but, you know, in a lot of cases, it probably won't kill you to take a year or two to try it out and then just go to college or university if you're going to anyway, right? So this whole song is built on my story about a lot of my really deep trauma, and we'll kind of go through things specifically, but we can start talking about real lyrics, you know. Long nights, reaching for the star, looking to the night sky. I was very sleepless. Well, not very sleepless. I wasn't like full-blown insomniac, but I was always sleep deprived in high school because I've never been able to go to sleep very early, especially in my younger teenage years, you know. Sorry. You know, I had trouble falling asleep. And something else that I think really can come to happen, right? Is we live in a society. We live in a society now where like you can 24/7 consume something. You know, you're eating food, you can be watching a video. You're, you know, in the bathroom, you got your phone with you. You know, 24/7, you can be like playing something, watching something, whatever. And when you have a lot of like heavy shit going on in your life, it's very easy to just kind of run away from it, consume, just never take a minute to process that. And the one place you can't run is when you're in your bed. You're laying there and you're stuck with your thoughts, and you have to sit there and think about it in order to fall asleep. And I kind of like this phenomenon of like, you know, the stars, like the things that you actually want, you know, could be the people. For me, it was definitely people, but you know, like the sort of like greater aspirations that you have up in the night sky that you're just kind of left there pondering and like processing everything. You know what I mean? Feeling torn apart, need some light in my life, following my heart, but it claws at my mind. You know, I feel like this one is just a pretty visual but self-explanatory thing. I felt obviously very conflicted. It's not a decision you can make overnight to be like, oh yeah, I want to be a VTuber, I want to be a YouTuber and go and spend a bunch of money and do all of this, and you know, like I don't want to go to school anymore. Like, no, you know, it's a very, very crazy kind of thing to choose to do in a lot of ways. But, you know, even though I was following my heart, it was very rationally difficult to justify. Even though in a lot of ways I don't think that it's like necessarily like a luck-based career like some people will have it, you like make it out to be, or things like that. I think in a lot of ways it is still very difficult, and sometimes when you're in like a very hard spot, one of the most painful things is that comfort is, you know, you're like the prisoner and comfort is the one that holds the keys. You know, it's like you might hate your life and be in like a really bad spot, but at least you know and understand that pain and like that bad. You're used to it being bad like that. If you go off on a limb and you just kind of, you know, send it somewhere else, you have no idea what's going to happen, and that uncertainty is terrifying, because even though you have nothing to lose, there's like a little part of like your ego, like your identity somewhere down there that it is still clinging on to the fact that you've been living through all the garbage that you've been living through up until that point. Even if you've been dying in a lot of ways, like, you know, you're feeling, you know, your soul is dying, you feel like awful, there's like a little part of you that is still like gripping on to your identity. Because like something I firmly believe is you can have a strong like narcissistic identity that has nothing to do with thinking you're better than everyone else. It can also be knowing better than anybody else that you're worse than everybody else, that you are inferior, you're a failure, everything goes wrong in your life, and that's just how it is, and you're not successful and all of this, right? And when you think it over and over, it internalizes for a reason. You have an identity, you have an ego, you can like clamp onto that with like your whole life force. It's very intense. And I've met people who are like that as much as I've wanted to help them, they were not in a position, they weren't ready to accept that help, right? Because they were too fixated on, you know, the fact they couldn't do anything. And sometimes that's how it is, right? I was like that in the past, and that's why it pains me so much to see like people that I care about who have gone through that. But, you know, at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is, you know, you just gotta accept the uncertainty, I think, is really important in life, you know? It's much better off to have a chance at happiness than a guarantee at sadness, even if you're used to being sad. Because if you're just gonna be sad anyway, who cares? You know what I mean? But anyway, this is all to say, when you go through all of this stuff, all of this guilt, all of this, you know, sadness, lack of motivation, you know, longing, just need some time. Time heals all. If you give space to yourself, give yourself time, let yourself experience, let yourself figure it out, I promise you'll get through anything. I promise. I feel like you will always come out the other side stronger. And those, like, whatever trauma and stuff like that you experience, it will, like, characterize you as a person, you know? I think that it's really beautiful in that way. It's terrible, the things that I've sort of been through mentally, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And at the same time, having lived it myself, I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I am the person I am today because of, like, the struggles I had, you know what I mean? But, you know, this verse kind of gets deeper into a lot of the specifics of things, you know? Paralyzed, hate my life, and I dropped. I felt like I couldn't move. I had this, like, mental paralysis of, like, you know, feeling like I wasn't ready to commit to anything, but I wasn't willing to sort of just kind of take the regular path either. So, you know, I was just really upset, ended up dropping out, stuck inside to the bedroom pop. I'm very much somebody who, you know, has holed myself up in my room for a long time. I thought I had agoraphobia for a long time, and honestly, I got diagnosed a long time ago with generalized anxiety disorder. I think that I'm pretty much past it now for the most part. But in some ways, I think that it was at least adjacent to agoraphobia. I hated being out in public in, like, situations I couldn't control, and I hated just kind of, you know, I've always been the type of person to kind of be a little hermit and, like, hold myself in my room. And, you know, sometimes when you're really going through it mentally, being stuck in, like, your room, it can, like, really get to you over time. You just see that, like, same day in and out over and over, nothing changing. You know, let it, you know, it kind of pops, like, everything explodes, like, you know, it's just like, you know, it's like a snapping point, but also it's a double entendre until the bedroom pop, because I found a lot of healing in my experience by making music out of my bedroom. to vent things off of my to vent things out of my system, you know. Watch the clock, time might slow but the world don't stop as well. This one too is just kind of like, you know, part of it is like late nights, just kind of looking at the clock, can't fall asleep type thing, but also, you know, no matter how slow it feels like time is moving and how you feel stuck, everything else in the world is still going on, you know, everything goes on. You know, everything is still moving, everybody else is doing their thing, and there's something beautiful about that, because it means that you can take your time, and whenever, you know, whatever it takes for you, it's not like you're holding anybody back for that, you know. It's okay to take your time, you know, but, you know, it's also important to stay moving when you can, right? Heavy weight on my shoulder, can't escape till it's over, go insane, the rat race, mundane, but at times, but I gotta get older. I like this one too, you know. I felt a lot of pressure to figure something out, because the only thing that I actually felt motivated for is something that I think is not respected by most people as a job until you're making money hand over fist and you're famous and successful. And I felt like, you know, it's like there are a lot of people who are frankly a lot stronger than me that try, you know, that get into content creation and things like that while going through school full-time or while working full-time. And, you know, part of that is bred out of circumstance. You can't afford to just do it, like, you know, full-time off rip. You have a life that you have to be able to stay alive, you know what I mean? And I have so much respect to people who can do that. But for me, I've always struggled with burnout and managing my energy, especially when I have to do things that I don't see a clear, like, vision or path out of. So a lot of the reason I struggled with school is because it's like, I don't plan to go to university. I don't have a career that I want to make out of a certain, like, major. What am I studying for? Like, why am I learning things, right? What am I doing with, like, 7 hours of my day every day, right? This was that kind of heavy weight that I can't, like, get rid of. And at the same time, you know, if I wanted to replace that, a new weight has to come in terms of, like, making things, you know what I mean? still like, you know, go insane, the rat race, mundane at times, but I gotta get older, is that this has more to do with content creation in some ways. I feel like I have a heavy weight to bear in some ways because I've decided I was depressed anyway. YOLO, just throw everything in the basket, give myself a few years and see what I can make happen, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of things about content creation that are not flashy, especially at the start. But, you know, that part doesn't matter. You gotta get older. You have to mature. You have to rise up to the circumstance. Doesn't matter how heavy it is. You can't just like run away, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what this is about, right? You know, no matter, you know, how it feels to be stuck in like the rat race of having to just like grind away at things, you gotta like mature and rise up to the occasion. And just kind of continuing through with like the whole theme of everything. Lying in bed and I think about my life. Don't want no meds when I can't sleep at night. Can't just turn it all off. If I can't feel shit, am I even alive? This line is really powerful to me because it really characterizes what I was talking about earlier about how I went like 6 months where I lost the ability to feel, like just straight up. I just felt nothing but apathy for like half a year. Genuinely the worst thing I could even imagine experiencing. Sadness and like anger have nothing on legit pure apathy. You feel like a zombie. It is terrible. And so going through and battling things like anxiety and depression and having trouble sleeping and things like that, even though I'm just like sitting in bed like trying to process all my feelings at the end of like every day, I don't want to just turn it all off. I don't want to just like, you know, sedate my mind with some like SSRIs, or is that what they're called? I think the like antidepressants or like anxiety meds or anything like that. I didn't want any of that. ADHD meds, none of that. I didn't want to medicate myself because I felt like I had to do something about it. I didn't feel like just kind of shutting everything up and ignoring everything to just go back to living my life like a zombie was not the solution for me. It's not to say that it's not the right move for some people, but you know, a lot of those things are hard to go back from, and I had some very strong feelings about it. But yeah, you know, try to unplug from my day-to-day, plug in the screen. It's my one chance to get away. Just gotta trust in the process, man. I'm far from perfect, but at least I'm out of my bed today. This one as well, I really like this little like stanza right here as well. You know, my day-to-day, this for me was mostly school and just kind of being very unmotivated with everything. So, you know, I try to unplug from that. And ironically, going on the computer and like going to playing games and like talking to friends that I had online and stuff like that was, you know, my way to you know, unplug from like the stress in my life in a lot of ways. It was very funny to me, but you know, no matter how you could argue there's things wrong with it, you know, it's not perfect, but at least I'm out of my bed today. I think this is a big one too, you know. I had a lot of problems in school with attendance towards the end of, you know, my years before I actually did drop out. I kind of would just stop going. I would just like go back to sleep and just lay in bed. And you know, some days when I had like my kind of like long sort of rut of apathy again, like I couldn't get out of bed. I would just lay there for hours. I think that, you know, just the process of getting up and doing anything is a step, and everything is relative to, you know, what's going on in your life, you know what I mean? So a lot of this sort of like entire verse, huge emphasis, huge like overbearing theme to this song in general is like, shit's gonna be tough, you're gonna feel, you know, stuck, you're gonna feel mad, you're gonna feel angry, you're gonna feel unseen at times. Life can be cruel in weird ways, but you just gotta do your best to like get up and keep going, regardless of how pathetic you could convince yourself it looks. You know, there's a lot of strength at times, even in just getting up for a day and doing literally anything when, you know, when you've been struggling for a while, you know? But yeah, I'm just tired of being tired all the time. Gotta take this shit in my own hands. you know, this is just kind of, I mean, pretty straightforward. It's very tiring to be tired all the time. So, you know, I felt like I finally have to like take some sort of action, and I did. But go back to the chorus. We had this little refrain: long nights cannot sleep as the time passes by, and the streets so alive just might give in this one time, so let's try to get up and go live our lives. This is a really cool little thing to me. I've never really tried writing a refrain in a song. I hope that people like this, because I had no idea. Honestly, I was kind of like, in general, I didn't know if people would like Starfinder. A lot of people did, which made me really happy. But it was kind of the idea of like, again, you know, you're kind of sitting, you know, you're just lying in bed, you can't sleep, you're just thinking about everything. But, you know, somehow at night, there's like a freeness to the world, you know what I mean? And ever so often, I had periods in my life where as I was laying there and just kind of like, as I was just kind of laying there and appreciating all the things that I would want, occasionally I would be like, you know what? Fuck going to sleep right now. I can't sleep anyway. And I would get out of bed and I would like start just, you know, frantically working on something like creative. You know what I mean? Something would just hit me in the middle of the night and I would just let go of like, again, like this song has a lot to do with letting go of expectations. You know, you just let go of expectations. You'd be like, whatever, I'm just going to get up in the middle of the night and go and live my life. I think that that's a huge thing about Starfinder. So, you know, Starfinder as a whole, that was a lot of deep Twi lore right there. I told you guys a lot about my personal life, my backstory. But you know, it's a song about having a lot of patience with yourself and not worrying so much about other people's expectations. Just take the time, find yourself. Starfinder. Well, there's a different song that touches on it later, but the real meaning of Starfinder is that every person out there, every one of you, all of the Twi Knights, all of the people who aren't yet a Twi Knight, but if you aren't, you should subscribe. Me, every person on this damn planet is a star in their own way, and they can shine in the right circumstances. But you need to find that star. You need to find the star in yourself. And for that, you need some time to find yourself. And that right there is the whole point of the EP, of this song. That is the whole idea. That's what it all ties back to, is that idea that everybody is a star in their own way. With that being said, I think what could be fun is let's do a little live performance of this, because why not? Oh, I don't have my karaoke audio. Wait, I'm gonna yoink that. Ignore the scene switch. I have to do this to grab a thing. Boop. Desktop karaoke. Perfect. We're gonna play it out of this one. This song is gonna sound really empty without all the harmonies, because there's a lot of harmonies that I put a lot of thought into when I was writing this song. Let me put on, get some reverb. Wow. Hello. Okay. Thank you to everybody who supported Starfinder. I'm really happy that you like this song. It's very special to me. Let's go. Long nights, reaching for the stars, looking to the night sky, feeling torn apart, need some light in my life, following my heart, but it clouds in my mind, and my mind, I just need some time to find, just need some time to find myself. Paralyzed in my life and I drop, stuck inside of the bedroom pop. Watch the clock, time might slow, but the world don't stop. Heavy weight on my shoulder, can't escape till it's over. Go insane, the rat race, mundane at times, but I gotta get older. Lying in bed and I think about my life. Don't want no meds when I can't sleep at night. Can't just turn it all off. If I can't feel shit, am I even alive? Trying to unplug from my day-to-day, plugging the screen is my one chance to get away. Just gotta trust in the process, man. I'm far from perfect, but at least I'm out of my bed today. just tired, man. Tired of being tired all the fucking time. Gotta take this shit in my own hands. Yeah. Long nights, reaching for the stars, looking to the night sky. Feeling torn apart, need some light in my life. Following my heart, but it clouds in my mind. And my mind, I just need some time to find. Just need some time to find myself. Long nights cannot sleep as the time pass by and the streets so alive. Just might give in this one time, so let's try to get up and go live our lives. Long nights cannot sleep as the time pass by and the streets so alive. Just might give in this one time, so let's try to get up and go live our lives. Reaching for the stars, looking to the night sky. Feeling torn apart, need some light in my life. Following my heart, but it clouds in my mind. And my mind, I just need some time to find. Just need some time to find myself. And there you have it, Starfinder. Very, very special song to me. I hope you guys enjoyed that song. Definitely not that easy. I feel like a lot of these songs are not very easy to live perform, but I hope you guys liked it. And with that being said, we can move on to Cut Loose. Oh, these aren't zoomed the same. How much should I zoom this? I don't know. Okay, sure, we'll zoom like that. Okay. Hello, Glycer, hope you're doing good. But yeah, I'm glad a lot of people resonated with it. Cut Loose. This song is a lot more of a fun song than Starfinder. Starfinder is a very deep, emotional song. Cut Loose was designed to be more of like a summer song, you know what I mean? Hey, no problem, Bubble. Thank you for dropping by. Have a good rest of your day. And thank you for the congratulations. Appreciate it, bro. But yeah, so Cut Loose, actually, this song was supposed to be a collab song. This song was very conflicting. It was, the last song that I actually finished writing on the EP, because I was working with another friend on this song who I met through the VTuber community, and they made a really, really clean verse for this song. I'm still honestly devastated that the collab did not work out, but we hopped on a call, we shared stuff, everything was super dope, and then out of nowhere they just kind of like fell off the internet. They just went completely MIA. I really tried to get a hold of them. I haven't been able to get in contact with them for months. I tried asking everybody I know that has contact with them, and nobody seems to be in contact with them. I really hope they're okay out there. They were, a very busy person, and so I hope that they're just very, preoccupied with life stuff. But I really hope they're doing okay out there. But I had to finish the song on my own, of course, and in a lot of ways, it was very difficult because it was the first time I ever had to experience songwriting where I had a clear vision of the whole song, and then it was ripped, like the rug was pulled from under my feet, and it was like, oh, other people don't know what they're missing, but I know what was supposed to be here, and it's gone. You know what I mean? And that was really jarring for me to kind of like work around. The second and last verse were not really supposed to exist. The intro wasn't supposed to be like this, but I pivoted it, and it's fine. You know what? I think it came out okay in the end. But Cut Loose, the whole point is simple. The EP moves chronologically. Starfinder, I was sort of realizing I needed time to like figure out my life, and I was just battling a lot of stuff. And what I realized is I had to cut loose. I had to cut out all of the bullshit in my life. I had to let go of all the things that I did not care about in order to like unshackle myself and move forward. And so Cut Loose is a vibe song, of course, but there is a very real message to it as well, you know? You want to be happy in life? You can't keep like putting sadness around yourself, you know? It's very, it's easier said than done. Even in like the media that you consume, you know, there's drama everywhere. There's news reporting like the worst things happening in the world constantly. You will meet friends who are just like permanently in a state of like inaction and they're kind of doing nothing with their life. You'll meet people who will make it their like life mission to hate on you for no reason and just like, you know, hold grudges against you and things like that. And most people just don't care about you, but that's not the point. Well, it kind of is the point. The point is that you don't need to care about stuff like that. You can let go of it and only care about what you actually like seek value out of, people that you find value out of, content that you find value out of, uses of your time that you find value out of. And that's not to say that you have to be like perfectly productive 100% of the time. I'm sure as hell not. But the point is, it's okay to cut loose. It's okay to, you know, let go a little bit, loosen up. And this song was written with a specific kind of story to it as well. So, back in high school, I had two friends that I would hang out with every day. And I was like kind of acquaintances with their friends, but really I had only two friends in high school. And it was my friend, I'm going to say V, because I don't know if he would want me to use his name. And my other friend who after high school, he moved. So V is really, really busy. Like he was when we were in high school, but he's way more busy now. And I almost never get time to hang out with him. Just because, you know, he's always got stuff going on. And my other friend moved, you know, after high school, his parents moved for work and he went with. And so, you know, in a lot of ways, I don't get to see them very often. But, big but, usually about once a year, I will get a call from V on my phone. And he doesn't usually call me. He usually will text me maybe, message me on Discord or something, I don't know. He'll almost never phone call me. But every time the phone call comes, I know what it means. 99.9% of the time. It means that my other friend flew into town for a few days. They're in the car driving around, and if I say that I'm not in like urgently busy, they're gonna pull up and pick me up and we're gonna go hang out. Which is great. I'm always so happy when that happens. It happened like a month ago, which was great. It kind of like gave me the inspiration to, or like maybe 2 months ago now, I don't remember. It gave me the inspiration to finish this song in this way. And the voice that you can hear for like the little phone call skit at the start of the song is my friend that I'm talking about here, who my friend V. And so I twisted it a little bit to play into Starfinder a little bit more, kind of pull a little bit from when I was in like darker times a little bit, you know. So there's a very heavy air of stress, you know. I got so much stuff, who's calling me, hello, friend, just like, you busy? And you know, of course me, I'm very non-confrontational, especially back then. So it's like, not really, I'm just chilling. Be there in 10, and then, you know, I'm just kind of like, okay. And it's like, I'm alright, just been stressing about so many things recently. It's like, maybe I just gotta cut loose, you know. I gotta let go. I gotta stop caring so much. That is the whole point of this song. And, you know, it goes through after that, you know. Gotta cut loose, ain't no rocket science, I just need some peace of mind, I just gotta cut loose. Penny pinching dimes, I'm just trying to enjoy my life, I be sipping on that juice, you know, like, you know, it's not, you know, you don't gotta be, you know, it's not rocket science, you don't gotta be trying to save every cent, you know, it's okay, you know, enjoy a little juice, you know, like, spending all this time just to wind up back in line, I just gotta cut loose, you know, just like, you gotta let go a little bit. You can't take everything so seriously all the time. You can't be up your own ass all the time. You gotta have a little fun. You know, I try to do that with the verse, you know. Homie hit my line and we hop in the coupe. Can't kill my vibe when we bump into tunes. Big city ride, hit the mall with my crew. Baby look real nice, yeah, girl got the fruit. This line is funny. You know, these three are all about what I talked about in the intro. You know, my friend called me up, hop in the car with my boys. You know, we're just playing music, driving around, go to the mall, whatever. Baby look real nice, that girl got the fruit, like she's sweet, but also like, I don't know, it could be like melons or something. Really stupid double bar. Got a new design off-white on my shoes. I got some shoes. They're not actually like proper like off-white or anything, but I mean I got some white shoes. I felt like putting it. Got drip so flying front page on the news. Got all this ice, stay afloat, need a tube, flying twilight skies, gonna be over the moon. A lot of this stuff, this is like, it's not deep. And that's kind of the point of the song, you know? Ice, you know, I was kind of sticking with it, like, you know, water, need a tube, like to float. Front page on the news, cause you know I'm just so fly, right? You know, I just got, you know, my fit's just so clean, they gotta report it. Flying twilight skies, of course, cause you know me, Twi. But yeah, and then you know, a little bit more actual substance here. Other side, grass is greener is true, but our side's still green. Why you all in a mood? We've been training our eyes to keep our mind on the blue, all the pretty skies in our life out of view. This one is good too. I like this little section right here. You know, I think it's very easy to be like jealous of like other people's stuff, you know, like on the other side, the grass is always greener type thing, right? But there's always little things that we can appreciate in our own life too, you know? It's not worth getting worked up about all the things that are better in other places when it doesn't help you at all to do that, right? It's all about learning to appreciate what you do have. You know, we've been training our eyes to keep our mind on the blue, all the pretty skies in our life out of view. You know, the blue could be like, you know, the other people's skies. It could also be like, I don't know, like diamond or like something, just like something nice. I don't know, blue just has that like kind of like a rich aesthetic to it in some ways, right? But you know, you keep looking on the other side, you're gonna miss all the good views in your own life, right? Like you gotta appreciate what you have. You gotta keep that vision. 2020, been through all this competition and don't stop for no food. Stay hungry, but don't get blindsided when you're tired. I gotta cut loose. I like this little flip too. Gotta keep that 2020 vision. You know, you gotta, you know, keep focused on like, you know, the kind of things that you should be looking at, but also like 2020. The 2020 been through, like, you know, 2020, like the pandemic and everything, been through all this competition and don't stop for no food. You know, I think that 2020 and just kind of since then, a lot of things have been very competitive. It's been, you know, the globalization of the world has been kind of blowing up, and it's very difficult in a lot of ways to do a lot of things. You don't stop for no food. You know, that's to say, like, you can kind of you gotta take those kind of breaks for yourself. That's where you gotta let go. Because, you know, the world's gonna keep moving no matter what, right? Competition doesn't slow down so that you can take a rest. Everybody's gonna keep moving. You just gotta be able to win the marathon in a lot of ways, right? You know, so you gotta, you know, the point, you gotta stay hungry, but you can't get blindsided. You know, when you push it too far, you gotta cut loose. It's a pretty self-explanatory song. You know, there's not a lot of like crazy, like deep meaning or story behind a lot of the lyrics, but I do like it a lot. That's the whole point. It does it well. The second verse, this is the verse that overall, I don't know how I feel about the most out of any part of any song in this EP, because it was a last minute addition, and I have this like comparison in my head to like what the other verse was supposed to sound like. In some ways, I felt like it was a bit of a shoo-in, but I tried to like switch it up a little bit. I tried to do a little something with it, you know, have a little fun with it. Brand new model, brand new laces, feeling marvelous. I wanted like a punchy like intro to it. Brand new model. This is kind of cool to me, just lyrically, because it could mean a lot of things. It could be like a new car. It could be like an actual model, like you're dating a model or something. In reality, it's the lamest of the three. It's that I got a VTuber model. But you know, it sounds cool. Not everybody who finds my song will necessarily know that I'm a VTuber, so like maybe they'll just think that I'm flexing like that, you know? Brand new laces, the shoes I was talking about earlier, feeling marvelous, of course. And then I flipped that to be MLM. That's why this bar is here. MLM. The way the fans be singing gospel, Alex Spawn is talking about me. I felt so cringe writing this line, but I threw it in anyway. I felt really cringe writing this whole verse, but I just was like, I'm just gonna go for it, man. I'm just gonna send it. I do appreciate it. Some of you guys are so supportive. I really do appreciate it. And I had this fucking line, Mom, you bad at honest, I ain't stopping her. I'm just focused on the bag, right? I don't need to go right now, I'm just trying to feel free. This was kind of like, chronologically, I thought of this song in the kind of time frame where I was like working full time. I was just focused on getting my money up, going and doing VTubing. And sometimes I have a few funny stories of random women that would try and, you know, express their interest in myself, in my person, whilst I was under employment, and I didn't really care. But you know, I'm never very direct about that kind of stuff unless I have to be. But you know, I feel like I might have talked about some of those stories on stream, but maybe we'll have to get into it sometime because it's funny. But you know, I was just kind of a little bit of like a feeling myself type verse, a little bit. Summertime, sipping wine under the palm trees. You can bet your ass I was not actually sipping wine under the palm trees. I don't like drinking that much. But you know what? It sounded fancy as fuck. The point is going to the beach, right? Which is kind of funny. This is the biggest question mark that I had to myself after I put the music out and thought and like sat on it a bit. Is putting these lines back to back. Because it didn't come out, it comes off a bit contradictory. And it's because low-key it kind of is. But what I meant, allow me to clarify. Vibing here at the spot, my whole team, hometown ain't all we got, but all we need. I'm from the East Coast, okay? I'm from Toronto. And so like, we don't have like beaches. We're not by the ocean, but Lake Ontario is huge. So big, in fact, that there are beaches off the lake, right? And so the point was like, just because you're like feeling yourself and you know you're appreciating the things you have, that don't mean you gotta like go and blow like a ton of money and go on some like crazy vacation across the world or something. You can also just like go to the beach nearby or like, you know, hit the spot up in your hometown with the squad, you know, like with the homies, right? That was the point. I realized in hindsight that this could be contradictory if you don't come from somewhere where going to the beach at your hometown would really be possible. But that was the idea anyway, right? Is, you know, tying back to like back here, you know, you gotta appreciate the things that you have around in your life, in your community, things like that. And we got the outro verse. I like this verse too. Ain't no string theory, think I figured out my life. Ain't no strings attached, just cut you out if you ain't right. Snip Control X, found a shortcut for my strife. Hold up my bro V calling again, finna be a good night. I really like this outro. I was really proud of this when I wrote it. So fun fact, this song was actually supposed to be called String Theory originally. You know, as you probably figured out, there was sort of like a universe type theme with the rest of the song names, you know, Starfinder, Galaxy Wide, Wish Upon a Star. And so I was gonna call this song String Theory, and I was like, cut loose just works too well, you know, that just like, I just gotta cut loose. Woohoo! Like that little thing, I was like, that is like the earworm right there. So I'm just gonna call the song Cut Loose. I don't care. Whole point is about not overthinking shit. Might as well not overthink the song name too, right? That would be a bit contradictory. So, but you know, ain't no string theory, think I figured out my life. Ain't no strings attached, just cut you out if you are right. This is a big one too, because you know, like I said, I've had like people in the past where like they were kind of dragging me down a bit, but I couldn't really do anything to help them. After a point, you know, the best thing you can do is to, with all respect and support for that person, step back, right? Cut yourself away, give yourself space to thrive, you know, bring new people who can match your energy into that space. And you know, that was kind of the idea with that. Snip Control X is the shortcut for cut, you know, like cutting something, right? So, you know, if I hit like Control X, this would despawn, and Control V, put it back. Found a shortcut for my strife, right? And hold up my bro V calling again, like Control X, Control V, but then also like my friend, you know, his name being V. Finna be a good night. I like that flip. That was a really cool flip, not gonna lie. And you know, hello, there you already, bro. Give me a sec. I'll be on in a minute. Just gotta cut loose. Yeah, it's just me like fucking around at the end, you know. But cut loose. Am I your bro V? No. This is about a real life friend of mine You are my bro V, just not the V that this song is referring to. I didn't know if I would want to use his real name, so I've just been referring to him by V as I kind of like went over all the lyrics for stuff. But you know, my good friend who was kind of like, he was in the intro of this song. But yeah, let's do, you know, we did a live performance. I think we'll do a live performance for all the songs at the end, now that we've kind of gone through. Yeah, don't put it in chat, but we can talk about it later. It's fine. I'll tell you off air. Okay, Cut Loose. Also, can I say, this beat is so fun, man. I picked this out. I looked up $1 Million Baby type beat on YouTube. I don't know if you guys know $1 Million Baby. That song came on and I was like, ooh, you know, like this is the vibe that I want, a Tommy Richmond vibe when I wrote this song. But yeah. I just gotta cut loose. Woohoo! Ain't no rocket science, I just need some peace of mind. I just gotta cut loose. Oh, I forgot to put the reverb. Oh no, it's just been, oh my god, I've had reverb on the whole time. Spending all this time just to wind up back in line. I just gotta cut loose. Just gotta cut loose. Just gotta look. When we hit my line and we hop in the coupe, can't feel my vibe when we bumpin' the tunes. Big city ride, hit them on my crew. Baby, look real nice, yeah, that girl got the fruit. Got a new design, off white in my shoes. Got dressed so fly, I'm from a page on the news. Got all this ice, stay afloat, need a tube flying. Twilight skies gonna be over the moon. On the other side, grass is greener, it's true, but our side's still green. While you all in the mood, we've been training our eyes, keep our mind on the blue. All the pretty skies and our life out of view. Gotta keep that vision, 2020 been through. All this competition, no stopping, no food. Stay hungry, don't get blindsided when you're tired. You gotta, I gotta cut loose. Ain't no rocket science, I just need some peace of mind. I just gotta cut loose. Penny pinching dimes, I'm just trying to enjoy my life. I be sipping on that juice. Spending all this time just to wind up back in line. I just gotta cut loose. Just gotta cut loose. Just gotta. Brand new model, brand new laces, feeling marvelous. MLM the way the fans be singing gospel atlas. Sponsors talk about me. Shawty, you want me bad and honest, I ain't stopping her. But I'm just focused on the bag, I don't need a girl right now, I'm just trying to feel free. Summertime, sipping wine under the palm trees. Bitches wildin', trying to dine out in a Maldives. I was just vibing at the spot with my whole team. Hometown ain't all we got, but all we need, cause I just gotta cut loose. Ain't no rocket science, I just need some peace of mind. I just gotta cut loose. Penny pinching dimes, I'm just trying to enjoy my life. I be sipping on that juice. Spending all this time just to wind up back in line. I just gotta cut loose. Just gotta cut loose. Just gotta. Ain't no string theory, think I figured out my life. Ain't no strings attached, just cut you out if you ain't right. Snip Control X, found a shortcut for my strife. Hold up, my bro V calling again. Finna be a good night. Hello? Damn, you here already, bro? Alright, give me a sec. Yeah, I'll be out in a minute. I just gotta cut loose. Just gotta. Yo, my lyrics is wrong in the fucking document, bro. I just noticed that. I'm just vibing at this spot with my whole team. That's what it actually is. I can't believe I had reverb on the whole time. Nobody said anything. I just explained the whole song with reverb. Nobody told me. That's so funny. Okay, well, that's fine. You know what? The whole song is about not worrying about it, so we're not gonna worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about Galaxy Wide. Because Galaxy Wide might just be my favorite song on this EP. It might not have the deepest meaning. It might have the shallowest meaning, in fact. It is complete, not even just might, it just is. It is easily the shallowest song on the EP. But it's a fucking vibe, though, you know what I'm saying? So, let's talk a little bit about galaxy-wide. There's a few things to talk about before we really get into the meat of it. So for starters, just chronologically, right? So this song, let me put the BGM back. There we go. Put the Starfinder BGM back. Cool. So this song, the whole kind of idea, right, was, chronologically, after I kind of like let go of a lot of things, learned to have some fun with my life, enjoy myself a bit. The next kind of thing was you get to like ride the high of that a little bit, you get to have some fun with it, really appreciate the things that are kind of like moving in your direction for once in life. It's like finally you got some wind at your back helping push you forward. After you've got a little momentum building, it can carry you a little bit, right? And it feels good. And so I wanted to write a song about that feeling too. There's that. Also, of course, Japan and Japanese culture and VTubing and all of that has been a big influence on like the pivot of my life to being happy. And I wanted to have a song that can appreciate some of that a little bit. And the other thing is that I got to write this song with the Mr. Katogami Vega, my boy Vega. Vega is so cool, by the way. You guys 100% should follow my friend Vega. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull up his channel and put it in the chat. You guys need to check out Vega's stuff because he's so underrated and so talented. He makes some bangers for somebody who's like, the thing is, he's not new. He's kind of like me where, well, I'm new to music. This was my first real project, but he's not new to music. He's less of like a streaming focused VTuber. He's much more like a musician who's building a career that just happens to be doing it as a VTuber, I would say. Is the kind of vibe I get, but he did stream Kingdom Hearts for like 50 hours one time, which is kind of funny. He's so crazy. Dude was talking to me like, yeah, I only stopped for a bathroom. I didn't go to sleep. I wasn't, taking food breaks. I'm like, dude, for 50 hours? Like, are you okay? Vega's crazy. He's way crazier than me. But he's very fun. It was very crazy that I actually managed to do this song. Because Vega is not somebody who makes himself easy to contact. I had to go very out of my way to get in touch with him. And what ended up happening is I went from like pretty much being like, okay, I'm probably not going to actually be able to get in contact with him, but it's fine. I wanted to work with Vega because when I was really new, I made my debut cover of The Vampire. And he commented that he liked it, right? He left a really nice comment on that, for, like pretty much one of my first covers. And I clicked his profile and I saw that he had one original out at the time. It was the only thing on his channel and it was actually like really good quality, right? And he was rapping too. And I was like, hold on a second. This could be a perfect opportunity to make the right friend for this project, you know what I mean? Which it was in a lot of ways. But I had to jump through a lot of hoops to find any form of contact with him. And I went from having no contact with him to first thing in the morning being in a Discord call with him. And I ended up performing the chorus of Galaxy Wide. And maybe I might have had the verse done too, I can't remember. Like really tired. It was terrible. It was so bad I like couldn't even do the chorus because I kept running out of breath because I just woke up. And I was like, I did it and he was silent the whole time and I was like, I blew it. I was sitting there like, man, why'd it have to be like first thing in the morning? And I was nervous and like I remember this, it was such a cool song idea, it's not gonna come through. And then he was like, that's really good, we should do it. I'm like, huh? Like I was shook. I was so surprised. It was a very, very pleasant surprise. And so we got to cooking. We got in the lab, we got to cooking. This song was one of the first this might have been the first song that I actually finished writing my stuff for. But Galaxy Wide was really fun. I wanted one song on the album. I wanted one song where I was like, I'm just gonna start barring. I'm just gonna be dropping bars as much as I can, and that's all that kind of comes to it, you know what I mean? So this song was a lot about having fun and showing off a little technique in a lot of ways, which I think I had a very fun time doing. We'll kind of get into it. The other thing is I was listening to a bunch of Glorb around this time. If you guys don't know, Glorb is like the guy that makes like the fucking AI SpongeBob raps where he like tunes his voice to like the SpongeBob characters, and he's doing like a whole story that's entirely told through like rap music videos. It's really goofy, but they're like unbelievably high quality, and I just really like his sound, you know? I think a lot of these like kind of beats, like the kind that I used on Galaxy Wide, you hear artists like Yeet or like, I don't know, I kind of think of like Miss the Rage by like Trippie Redd or something like that. These kind of like rage beats, as they're usually called. Normally I don't like the sound that people go for on them, but the beats are kind of cool. And I kind of, after listening to Glorb do his style on it a lot, I was like, hold on, like these beats kind of, you can cook on these beats. I want to do a song on one of these, and so I did. But yeah, we got the intro. I wrote this, by the way, and something I find really funny is I feel like when Vega speaks this line, he sounds like Luigi to me for some reason. He sounded like the way he delivered it sounded really funny, but it just worked. I was like, I'm gonna leave it in, it's funny. Yeah, like, hey, yo, Vega, this beat kinda crazy. No, bro, like, you don't understand. This beat is out of this world, yo. I'm about to spaz. What? I like that intro. It was just funny. But yeah, we got the chorus, kinda. I just came off a check now. I don't need no alibi. You know, I just got paid. This was like after I was like finished doing a bunch of work, saving all my money up. So I got a bunch of money, you know. I don't need no alibi. I'm chilling on my own. High-tech entertainers, and these documents classified. This because like we're VTubers, we got that like aspect of privacy, you know what I mean? High-tech. Also kind of cool that like unintentional bar that I wrote that one of my friends who listens probably to more mainstream rap than I do, he was like, after the I don't need no alibi, high-tech entertainers, he was like, oh, this is like a cool double, like a tech, like the gun. And I was like, oh, I didn't even intend that, but but you know what? That is a cool bar though. It's a cool unintentional double. But I wouldn't really call it a double because I didn't write it with that in mind. Tripping out of orbit, yeah, green, it got me super high. I don't think that smoking weed is anything crazy, but I don't actually smoke weed. This, you know, if we want to be real, I was like, oh, I could pass this, you know, like the money got me feeling so high, man. I'm high on life with all this money. But you know, really, it's just we do a little capping. There's bigger caps in this song, okay? It's just about vibes. Nobody's listening to it and fact checking it. You know what I mean? It's okay to lie a little bit. Rocking out with Vega because you know we keep it worldwide. You know, he's out from Japan, and you know, also kind of cool about this one is you know, Vega, one of his main things that you might see if you look into his profile more is he's been like traveling around the world and like making a song for like all the different places he's been in. So like at the end I was like, ayo Vega, you want to go LA strip? That's because he was in LA. Or at least he was in the States. I don't remember if it was, I think it was around LA. But you know, that's how that part came up as well. He just happened to be out in the States, and I was like, oh, that's like a funny outro to do. But yeah, Kokusai, rocking out galaxy wide. Kokusai just means like international. It's just Japanese for like international. So that's what this chorus means. But yeah, we had the rocking out galaxy wide. And then this was my verse to be like, I've written some rap before. I can do a little barring. You know, we can get in there and try and write some cool lyrics. And I did something that I don't think anybody has ever been on the spectrum enough to attempt. I wrote a hard rap verse while making a bunch of Hololive references. I bet y'all ain't never seen Hololive schemes in fucking gangster rap. But anyway, I don't know, I love Hololive. And I had some cool ideas for some bars, so I made a scheme, man, okay? I was rapping about what I love, and it's on a collab song with, like, a bunch of Japanese, so I thought it would be in theme anyway. Anyway, I'm blasting off and we interstellar. Hit that street in our Rockefeller. like Rockefeller Street, like the song. I don't know if you guys would have remembered, but you know, especially I played a lot of Osu. It's where I got into a lot of Japanese kind of like music and culture. It was a big meme back then, even outside of Osu. There's like this video of like some guys in front of like a really old computer. It's like 1 2 7 3 down the Rockefeller Street. You know, there's like they just stop playing the game and like get up and start dancing. I just wanted to reference that, so that's what that is. But also it's like a double, like I Rockefeller, like, you know, like I rock a person, like a fella. When I hit that street, big step when I whip the pen, like when I'm writing, I'll write your end like a storyteller, you know, like don't get into like beef with me, because you know, I'll write your end like a, you know, I'll write the story of your downfall. I don't actually want to get into rap beef, but this is a cool bar and I liked it. Something you can kind of keep as like a metal. No, obviously I know you guys know me, but I'm not actually like super hard like that. But I wanted to try writing a song like this anyway. Super hot like Death Valley. You know, Death Valley is the hottest place in the world. But also, Death, gonna tie into the Cali scheme in a sec. Roll the ops like it's Cali. This one's a double with Death, you know, like Calliope Mori, but also, you know, the Grim Reaper VTuber, but also like a California roll. Little double there. Mori no okushinigami ya red nutekuru hamono sasari. This, so you know, Calliope Mori, but you know, Mori is the Japanese word for forest. Mori no okushinigami, so like, you know, Grim Reaper, you know, like Shinigami, or like, you know, Death God Grim Reaper in the depths of the forest. Red nutekuru hamono sasari. This is like painting it red when I stab with the knife, but also like Cali has a song called Red. So there's that's like a big scheme in this whole kind of verse, right there. It continues with the Hololive stuff. Suisei no Yode, I'm a star shooter, you hit the target with ease. You know, Suisei is Japanese for shooting star. So, you know, I'm a star shooter, hit the target with ease. But also, like Suisei, I guess I could have actually, what I should have done here is this should have been written like this, so you can interpret it like the name as well, because she has it written in hiragana. But cross me wrong, winter project, I'm cold with it, stacking bodies till they overflow. So for anybody who doesn't know, Suisei has a very, very infamous old stream where, you know, she picked up the nickname Suikopath for playing the game Winter Project and being an absolute menace. It's kind of like an older Among Us that's like a little bit more graphic, because you're like all out in the winter, like trying to survive outside, and you can like try and pick people off in the outskirts, kind of. That's sort of the idea. It was kind of like an Among Us type game. Very iconic clip. Definitely recommend it. It's really funny. Old school VTuber clip if you're into that. But also, you know, like I'm cold with it. Winter project. Just kind of internal themes like that. We squaring up, hit that do-si-do, like square dancing. Get in my bag, you already know. That one doesn't have a cool bar. It's just self-explanatory. Death Star, private jets, cars, bank called, told him hold the phone. Death Star is the unit name for Cali and Suisei. And also, if you're thinking of big ass things that you could buy, there's not much cooler that you could buy than the fucking Death Star. So you know what I mean? That was a cool one. I liked how this kind of like put a little ribbon on the whole scheme. But you know, it's also like, I got so much money, like, you know, the bank's calling, I'm buying all this stuff, just put them on hold, doesn't matter, right? This was kind of like my flex song, you know. I really went in on this song. And I'm really proud of how the bars came out on this verse. I think this is one of the most technically skilled verses I've ever written, and I thought it was really cool. And then this part was cool too. We got the little bridge, you know, come up from the bottom, I ain't got much left to hide. Keep my secrets though, I'm pimping out my private life. This is to say, you know, like I've been through a lot. I'm not gonna make it out like I came from the worst situation ever, but I've hit rock bottom in my life from my own perspective. And I feel like to a degree, I'm a fairly open book. I don't feel like I have the need to like conceal my story in any way, but at the same time, you know, I keep my privacy. I'm a VTuber, so you know. I be pushing V, you know, I'm sleeping good tonight. This was a play on Pushin' P, if you guys remember that song. It comes with a few meanings that actually, it's funny how many adjacent meanings you can put to this. So obviously, Pushin' V can be like pushing VTubers, of course, right? But Pushin' V, you could have, okay, so with Pushin' P, you could interpret it as like, some people would say like pushing positive vibes. V could just be vibes. P could be like P space the ussy. V has an equivalent word for that. I won't say it out loud. You can fill in the blanks. P could also be like perks. V, I used to take a sleep med called Valerian. It's not actually like a illegal drug. It's not even a prescription. It's really just like more of a natural thing than an actual drug. But it's funny that there was again like a kind of like tie for that for me, you know what I mean? I'm sleeping good tonight, V for Valerian. That was kind of cool. And taking over, I'm the Space Invader because I'm rocking out galaxy wide. This one is cool because like Space Invaders is like in theme, but also like I'm invading the VTuber space. I'm making my presence known. I liked that kind of like way to tie off the verse. I'm really proud of the verse on Galaxy Wide. I think this was a very technically impressive verse. I was very happy. So we go through that. All right, Vega's verse is in Japanese. I'm not that good at Japanese, but I'm gonna try my best to translate this and help you, put you guys on game a little bit because Vega is also really cool. So, Vega Twi Ichiban. This is Vega and Twi are number 1. Dare ga tsugi no kimen? That's like who's gonna be like the key man. The way that he put the kanji here, I don't know if this was like an old lyric because I think this is usually read as like Jisedai or something. But it's like who's gonna be like the key man of the next generation or whatever. So just kind of like cool way to start. Toki ni wa ai o tau rough makeup bas to kubikiru jakusa rippa. This is a cool one. So this is like a rough. I don't really. Rough maker doesn't really translate to English. It's like one of those loan words where it's like not really like it sounds like an English word, but it's not really. But like a rough maker who sometimes sings of love. Bas de kubikiru jakusa rippa. Beheading on the verse like Jack the Ripper. Kind of cool like imagery. Shogo mo meisho tarana skill. I think this is like saying like my titles aren't like long enough to like represent like my talent or like my greatness or whatever. This one is really funny. Kando ryoko no hentai skill. When I saw this, I was like, bro just said hentai skill in the song? Like, what? I thought this was so funny to me because I didn't know what it meant really, other than, like obviously what my little foreigner brain was thinking of. But as it turns out, so in the same way in English, you can be like, oh yeah, like, oh, this guy, he's so like nasty with it, like dude, like that was like disgusting, it's like so dirty, right? Like, your skill is like so like gross, you know what I mean? You can use words like that. You can use like hentai skill in like the exact same way in Japanese. So that's what this actually means. You know what I mean? It's like he's so good, his skill is like dirty like that, right? Hikurikai sekai no chato is like flipping the world charts upside down. And then this is the one line that I like don't really know how to translate properly. Asobi de keru koto naku bakuso. This is like, I think it's kind of like just like blowing up just for fun, like you're gonna explode or whatever, like kick it off. I don't really know exactly how this is supposed to translate, but it's a cool bar like that. Sorry, I wasn't sure if my parents were calling me out, but they were just talking about like groceries or whatever. Okay. Anyway. Korogaru koto naku ageteku reito ni bet. This is like bet, like don't stop betting on the rate that never goes down. So he's saying, like we keep going up and up and up, basically flipping the world chart, tying back to that. This was a cool bar. I like this. Keshiki o keshite mo keshite konai. This is like a cool way of using how in Japanese sometimes you can like have the phonetically kind of the same word twice, but you can see they're like different kanji here because they're actually different words. This is like saying even if you erase the scenery, it will like never go away, like the end will never come, right? That's what I think it's supposed to mean. I usually see like, I've only really seen like keshite used for like keshite wasuranai, like I will never forget, but I think it's kind of like, the end will never come even if you erase like what we made or whatever, right? Wakugai no categorize is like out of the box, like categorizing, I guess, thinking. I don't really 100% know this one either, but it's kind of like that. This line is kind of funny. Patomi kakoi Twi nara my homie fall in love. It's like one look at my handsome friend Twi and my homies falling in love. It's just a funny line. I like it. I feel like this is probably like a little bit of like a maybe like a misinterpretation and translation a little bit, but it's really, it's cute, it's funny, it's got charm. I didn't want to say anything, I wanted to leave it in. And this is our hometown, Konnomonde Doska. Like, what do you think? Like this, like this is what we got kind of going on, right? Yume naraba sa dekkai. If it's a dream, how big? Like how big are we dreaming? Saikyo daro Vega Twi. Vega Twi, we're the strongest, surely. Hitsuyonai kono genkai mo wakuse nami no aizo de tsukuru saiko. It's like making the best. There's no need for any limits. We make the, like the best things with like an entire planet's worth of love. It's a very cool, he has a very like cool descriptive way of writing things. I feel like Japanese is like a very visual language sometimes. And he's got some really cool bars in there. I just kind of close it out really stupid. Like, we've galaxy wide on this bitch. You trying to go LA strip, I'm trying to get lit. Like, just stupid ass shit. But yeah, galaxy wide, really fun verse. And, hold on. Okay, got a little water. I'm gonna, I said we were doing live performances for all the songs. This one ain't no different. I don't got Vega here with me, so you're gonna get to hear me doing the Japanese verse this time. Hopefully I don't butcher this too badly. You guys are gonna get to hear me doing some Japanese rap, which is fun. I haven't got to do much Japanese rap in a while. We get the reverb. Hello! We galaxy wide, boys. Gotta get some breadsticks. I just came up off a check, now I don't need no alibi. High-tech entertainers and these documents is classified. Tripping out of over, yeah, that green, it got me super high. Rocking out with Vega, cause we keep it worldwide. Kokusai, rocking out galaxy wide. 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 Blasting off when we interstellar. Hit that street and I Rockefeller. Big step when I whip the pen and I'll write your end like storyteller. Super hot like Death Valley. Roll the ops like Escali. Mori no okushinigami yarunu to kuru hamono sasari. Sui say no yo damn, Astashuru, yeah, hit that target with ease. Cross me wrong with the project, I'm cold with the second bodies till they overflow. We squaring up, hit that dosey dough. Get in my bag, you already know. Death Star, private jets, cars, bank, call, told them hold the phone. Come up from the bottom, I ain't got much left to hide. Keep my secrets though, I'm pimping out my private life. I be pushing V, you know I'm sleeping good at night. Taking over on the Space Invader, cause I'm rocking out galaxy wide. I just came up off a check, now I don't need no alibi. High-tech entertainers and these documents is classified. Tripping out of over, yeah, that green, it got me super high. Rocking out with Vega, cause we keep it worldwide. Kokusai, rocking out galaxy wide. 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 Vega Twi achieving. 誰が次のキーメン時には愛を歌うラフメーカーバースで首切りジャックスリッパー証拠も名称も足らなスキルキャンドル横の変態スキルひっくり返す世界のチャート遊びで蹴ることなく爆走転がることなく上げてくレートにペッペッペッペッペッ景色を消しても消してこない枠外のカテゴライズやパッと見かっこいいとはなら my homie falling ラップ this is a hometown こんなもんでどうすか夢ならばさでっかい最強だろベガトワイ必要ないこの限界もう惑星並みの愛情で作る最高Now I don't need no alibi. High-tech entertainers and these documents is classified. Tripping out of over, yeah, that green, it got me super high. Rocking out with Vega, cause we keep it worldwide. Kokusai, rocking out galaxy wide. 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 Haha, we galaxy wide on this bitch. Ayo Vega, you trying to go LA strip? Nice, bro. Let's do it. I'm trying to get lit. Oh, that verse is so much fun, man. Dude, this verse is so much fun. Oh my god, Vega like felt the vibe so hard when I sent him my verse. Bro passed the vibe check with flying colors. This is what I wanted to show people about Japanese rap, man. Japanese rap is so damn cool because occasionally, a word might end with like the sound. But outside of that, that is the only scenario where a word can end with a syllable, right? Or with a consonant, sorry, right? So when you rap in Japanese, there's like this silky smooth, like super fast flow. Oh my god, excuse me. You can like flow so fast and fluidly because every syllable starts with a consonant and ends with a vowel pretty much, that you can just like constantly just be making these like super like silky smooth flows compared to in English. It's so cool. I love it so much. I feel like Vega had a very similar style on this to another Japanese rapper I really like called Topham Hat Kyo. You might know him if you've ever listened to like Fake Type before. But yeah, I was really happy when Vega sent me his verse for this. It was so good. I'm a huge fan of this. This is like one of my favorite parts of the whole EP. So shout out Vega. Thank you again, my bro, for writing this song. We're gonna be homies for a long time, I hope. He's such a cool guy. But yeah, and also thank you guys for the breadsticks. Oh man. Okay, and now we have one last song to go through. This we're kind of sobering up from all of the vibes and all of that. We're coming back down to earth real quick. Oh, excuse me. We have Wish Upon a Star is the last song. And this song is a lot more about modern day me. A lot of these songs have been about my experiences in the past few years. This song is about my experiences in the past few months. You know, this is present day Twi into the song. This song is an interesting song. It's mostly about like acceptance and again like patience, of course, with yourself and with other people. It's also got some themes about like, you know, again, we have some more themes about like mental health and things like that come back into this. There's some societal themes, and I guess one kind of other thing to mention with this one as well is like there was a lot of themes about like, you know, I talked earlier about how sometimes you gotta like cut things out of your life that aren't productive to where you want to go. You know, you can't like keep yourself shackled when you're, you know, to somewhere you're not happy. But part of it is like there is still like feelings of second guessing, you know what I mean? No matter how good things get, there can always be like a part of you that's kind of unsure about like the road you're walking, that little voice in the back of your head. And this song taps into that a lot. And you know, there's a lot of layers to it, I would say. Let's get into it. Fall deep into the night sky, I gasped for breath and pinched my arm real tight. So, in a lot of ways, this refers to me actually becoming a VTuber. Actually moving towards everything. Before, we were just reaching out for the night sky, right? Just looking. Now we're in it. And it doesn't feel real in some ways, you know what I mean? Everything moves so fast sometimes when you have a big change in your life. You know, it's like, I call your name out because nothing feels real without you standing by my side. This refers in some ways to you guys, the community. Also refers in some ways to a very close friend of mine that I was, you know, not speaking to as much at the time, but I'm speaking to them more now, but kind of leaning on somebody else to ground me a little bit as well, right? Then we get into a very fast sort of, you know, this song tends to bounce around between like more melodic, like slow, dreamy kind of feel, and then like very fast, like racing thoughts is sort of part of the aesthetic I was going for with it. And so we have this verse. This is like the fastest verse in it. Lost in a loop where I'm caught in the light. Look at the window, I'm bored of my flight, but I just can't believe what's in front of my eyes. It's a dream or a curse, I wonder every night. I wonder every night. You know, I pronounced it weird to make it work, but you get it. This is to say, I'm so happy and grateful that, you know, I've been able to experience so many positive things after, like, finally getting to start doing VTubing and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, I'm on the flight. But it feels surreal in some ways, right? And sometimes you can have second thoughts when you have like a bad day or something, right? That like sort of like uncertainty or like that like wavering kind of feeling. Oh, don't get me wrong, these are just passing thoughts. A lot of this was meant to encapsulate like getting racing thoughts through your brain and just kind of like struggling to filter through them, you know what I mean? Yeah. Say it's alright, take my time day by day. I don't want to turn back to the times it was gray or the deepest of blacks. Clean the ink from my veins, because when you got my back, know that I'll be okay. So this one, you know, of course, kind of building on the last part, you know, everything is okay. You know, just taking my time, one day at a time, one step at a time. I don't want to go back to the times it was gray, back when, you know, I just had like complete apathy and I was like living for nothing. Or the deepest of blacks, clean the ink from my veins, like when I was really depressed in the past. I don't want to go back to those times. I want it to be free from my body in a way. Because when you got my back, know that I'll be okay. As long as I have my friends, as long as I have you guys, as long as I have this place to be myself, I know that I'll be okay, right? That's kind of what that comes around to. And I gotta be better. I know that I can't turn my back on the weather that never gives in, but the rain's getting wetter. It's under my skin. As we move to the final hour, I don't know how to swim. This one was interesting too. This is like that like nagging voice of like imposter syndrome for me, right? That just won't like shut up. And you know, those like kind of feelings of like guilt or like unworthiness that can like creep around sometimes in your brain, you know what I mean? You can't turn your back on the weather that never gives in. There's always like that rain like pattering, just waiting to come crashing in like a thunderstorm. You know what I mean? It's under my skin, like the, you know, the dark thoughts sometimes they can get in. You move to the final hour, you know, everything's coming up. I don't know how to swim. You're getting thrown in the deep end. Everything's gonna come, you know, rushing through and you have no idea what's going on, right? You gotta be better. And then, you know, I kind of tie it out by saying, current events that I idolize cover the sweat beneath my eyes, thanking my lucky stars that today I can say that I'm still alive. This is to say that, you know, because of the people that and the things going on in my life and just kind of in the spaces that I interact with that I've been able to absorb and be inspired by, it helps me to kind of like hide those like tears and that like stress, you know, like the sweat, right? That was kind of like the double meaning, is like, of course, sweat beneath your eyes, like that's obviously like tears, but also, you know, like that kind of like, you know, you're sweating because you're like nervous, right? But you know, it's like despite all, you know, everything going on, it's like you're being thrown in the deep end, no idea how to swim, no idea what I'm doing out here. You know, I can hide behind everything and just be thankful that I even have a chance to swim in the rapids at all, you know what I mean? Take it any day over where I was, right? This song, I think that this right here is such an integral concept to this song, is the gratefulness that I came out the other side unscathed. So like Starfinder was a song that was really deep into like my just hard depressive moments in my life, you know what I mean, where I was very just ridden with mental health problems, and I'm so grateful that I never let it win back then, you know what I mean? It was really like great. I was very grateful to myself for that. So, you know, very thankful that I made it through everything, you know, thanking my lucky stars, because, you know, it truly is lucky that I actually came out on the other side in a lot of ways, and I wanted to emphasize that. I haven't seen that name in a while. Hello. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. Hope you've been well. But yeah, so that's kind of this verse, you know, it's like this first verse I think is a very different vibe to the second one, but it's a lot of the like uncertainty of, sort of coming into a better situation when you're used to kind of being in the ruts for a while. It can be a weird experience mentally. It's a new like sort of like landscape to navigate, but at the end of the day, it's all positive, you know. Everything is taken in stride in my end, you know what I mean? And so the chorus here, I really liked this chorus. Wish upon a star, no matter where you are. Cross my heart and hope to die. Cover my scars and hope to fly. I wish that I won't ever be apart from you. This is all to say, you know, no matter how bad your circumstances are, no matter how rough things get, wish upon a star, you know. Remember, things can always get better. Things will always get better with time. You just need to be patient. You need to put faith in yourself, and you know, if it helps you, put faith in the universe. I'm not religious, but I think that, you know, it could be religious, it could be spiritual, it can just be towards yourself, whatever it is. You know, part of this whole EP, remember, is that the idea that everybody is a star in their own way, and you can find that star within yourself, right? So this is kind of like, this is kind of to say, like, you know, wish upon yourself. Yeah. Cross my heart and hope to die. This is just to say, like, super, you know, to be very serious about the things that you want. Cover my scars and hope to fly, you know, no matter like how rough things in the past have potentially been, you know, to kind of like move past it and hope to like reach greater heights anyway. And I wish that I won't ever be apart from you. This is also like really important to me. Like I said before, this kind of refers to both like you guys and also like a very, you know, some like very close friends of mine. The idea of like, you know, no matter how low things get or how high, you know, I may fly one day. I hope that people can be with me through it all. You know what I mean? I hope that I can appreciate that experience with everybody, regardless of, you know, wherever things go, right? I think that's a good sentiment to keep, no matter what kind of person you are, is to keep the people that you care about in your life around you. You know what I mean? I don't think the you know, the mixing is the greatest. I'm flattered. I can talk to you about stuff like that at some point if you want. Sure, I can give you some pointers if you want. But yeah, yeah, feel free to like DM me about that if you want, though. I can talk to you about it later. But yeah. Okay. So that was the chorus of this song. Let's talk about the interlude, because this is the only song that had an interlude section, which is kind of cool. Moment of silence for all the kids out there that gave up on themselves before they were even old enough to have a chance. Sometimes the world ain't fair. Sometimes like your home is burning down and there's nothing you can do except for get out the way or get burnt. It's fucked up. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I said that we might get into some societal outlook things. I want to once again preface, I don't like to bring politics into my space too much, and there's no problems at all if people don't agree with what I say in this sort of like portion. It's, you know, I don't even necessarily have super strong feelings about a lot of this stuff. I just wanted to vent the thoughts out into the world, right? But this part right here, yeah, no problem, Luffy. Feel free to send me a friend request anytime, bro. What was I gonna say? So this part right here, before we get into all of that with the verse, is to say that, you know, as I mentioned earlier in the stream when I was talking about Starfinder, there was a kind of portion of my life where I didn't want to live anymore. I couldn't imagine a good life for myself, and I thankfully never actually did anything. You know, I never acted on anything. But there are a lot of young people in this world today that do, because they can't see a clear vision. You know what I mean? They don't have a route. They just don't know what they don't know, right? That's why I say it's so important to be patient and like give yourself time to figure things out, because, you know, sometimes there's just no way for you to know like what you're missing out. It's impossible for you to see that future, and you only know like suffering or whatever, right? Under a certain age, like, you know, you yourself are the most dangerous thing to your life, which is crazy statistically to think about. But, you know, there are a lot of kids out there that give up on themselves before they're old enough to have a chance. It's like they feel boxed into like an impossible situation before they can have any grasp of like the overall how a lot of the time the magnitude of things is much smaller than it feels, you know? Sometimes the world ain't fair. Sometimes like your home is burning down. There's nothing you can do except for get out the way, get burned. It's fucked up. You know, it's like sometimes the only things that you know in life when things are already going bad will, you know, the rug will get pulled out from under your feet. Sometimes life is just straight up not fair. Bad things happen to good people all the time. And the point is that you can't, okay, this is just not going to fit on the thing, but you know, you can't always expect it to be fair, right? A lot of this verse is talking about how things in life, there's a lot of bullshit in life, you know what I mean? Let's get into it. Sunk cost fallacies, lost formalities, breaking out the cycle for my brain fucking atrophies. This whole like part actually was really important to me. Every Joe and Michael try and entice you with them Ivy Leagues, unless you're fucking stupid, then it's trade school, go to carpentry. This is the kind of idea of like society kind of like shoehorning people into like specific little boxes of like things that are like socially acceptable to do with your life, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with having academic sort of like goals and wanting to go to like a nice school, or just wanting to have a simple good job to make your money and going to trade school and going and doing carpentry or plumbing or anything like that. There are jobs that there's always people that these jobs would be for, but there's this kind of like idea that you have to do these kind of things, you know what I mean, where you have to like pick a nice job and you have to like start working towards it by going to school and whatnot. And you know, people will get into these sunk cost fallacies where they, you know, maybe you've been studying for a couple years, maybe you're 1 year away from finishing this program that you don't even want a career in, maybe you just got your degree but you don't actually really like the field of work that you studied for. Maybe you've been in this career for 5 or 10 years and you feel like it's not for you, but you don't know what else to do because you have a family, you have a relationship, you have kids, you're just by yourself in this fucking economy and you need to pay rent. Like, there's a billion things it could be, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, people will kind of get stuck in these like little boxes that they like put themselves in a lot of ways, because that's kind of what we're taught to do if you don't have like more awareness or like something that snaps you out of that kind of system, if you just happen to not be a good fit for it, you know what I mean? And a lot of the time for this kind of stuff, I'm speaking from my own experience, and I'm not like most people. I have, you know, like mental like differences, you know, I'm a neurodivergent person in a lot of ways, right? So this kind of stuff I don't expect to resonate with everyone, but I think that the people that it might resonate with, it will resonate with very strongly. Stick people in these little boxes like it's alright. Ask kids to choose a path before they learn how to fight, and if you're too dumb for math, then he can go clean your pipes. Is that really any way to value human life? These are all like kind of more of the same that I just talked about, you know what I mean? It's kind of stupid that before you have any sort of experience in like the working class like world, before you experience anything about what it's like to have a job and be in a career field, you just start studying classes for it that are nothing at all like actually working it, and you pay tens of thousands of dollars and go into debt to get a degree to go and do that a lot of the time. And you know, you go, and then, you know, stereotypically the only time you're gonna go to trade school for something like carpentry or plumbing or something is because you were too dumb to go to university or whatever, right? That's an image that a lot of people kind of like paint that I think is really stupid and pointless, you know what I mean? There's no point in it. And it's not like academically I was dumb by any means. It's not like coming out of a place of personal resentment. I just disagree with like the concept like fundamentally to me, right? You know, everybody can find something for themselves. You just have to look around sometimes, you know? But you know, then I kind of go on, this is a little bit more like as well. Game to these CEOs, they laughing in their mansions, maxing out their money long ago, need an expansion, 100 racks, pocket change, hide behind philanthropy, write it off for tax, hold everybody ransom. This is to say, like, you know, as much as this kind of stuff is stupid, you know, the fact that, you know, school is not always like the right choice, but people kind of get like pigeonholed into going and like studying something they don't care about all the time. This is not a problem that's gonna get fixed in a lot of ways, because the people at the top, they don't give a damn about that, right? You know what I mean? They have way too much money to care about other people like that a lot of the time. In fact, they need like more stuff to do. Most of the time, rich people will like donate something that is not financially significant to themselves, grab a tax credit, and then like most of the problems that are like systemically around kind of just go like unpassed, right? And this is not to say that having advantages for rich people to donate money to charities instead of letting it sit is a bad thing. But the point is, right, no matter how many rich people there are that'll like throw some money into some charity or whatever, we have to be the change. You know, they won't fix systems for us, right? It is a everybody needs to do it type of deal, but the game is legit too big. Like, how are you gonna fix the entire systemic like cycle of pushing kids into careers in like university way too young and making them pay like exorbitant amounts of money for classes that put them into debt immediately, regardless of if they actually like the career that they end up studying for or not, right? That's not something you can change as one person, right? Just a ripple in the ocean. You know, grab the blade, cannot swing, it's too heavy, right? That's the whole point. And the whole point of all of this bitching that comes out of this song is everything in life is double-edged, some evils never fade, guess I'll only fight my own battles, staying in my lane, sorry. This is all to say that in this way, you have all of this uncertainty about like your own life, and you know, things can be, you know, there can be bad things even when things are going good and you can feel uncertain about it. And in the same way, there can be a lot of things that make you feel bad that you can be certain about, and you also have to just not accept as your problem, right? No matter where you are, no matter how like insignificant you feel, in a lot of ways it can be that way. And when you have like all of this, everybody has so much on their own plate in a way that they don't even always process. You know, we all have things we want to do, things we have to do, things like that. I think most people, once they have like a certain experience in their life, they might even develop like a sense of justice or like purpose that they want to carry out. There are so many things out there that are like trying to prey on not even necessarily just you, but like your energy. Like even if you're not directly affected by any of this stuff, just thinking about it, you can kind of sit there and be like, you know, like, damn, this is fucked up. Like there's all these problems and like there's nothing we can do. And it's like, yes, exactly. All you need to do is focus on yourself. You know what I mean? You need to focus on the change that you can make in your own life. That's a lot of what this song is about. It's a song about change. It's a song about acceptance of change, right? It's a lot of things that will change, and you gotta come with all the struggles of that and be grateful for those opportunities. There's a lot of things that are gonna be unchanging and kind of unfair, and you gotta just kind of be accepting of those and do your best to work around those difficulties, you know what I mean? And so the song is a lot about acceptance, and it all comes back to this kind of like place of like camaraderie, I guess, you know? I know it's a lot of people trying to gatekeep us out there, but gotta put our heads down, grind for that better life, pray for better times, you feel me? I know we'll meet us again someday as reborn people, so go and become the star we both know you can be. Don't look back. Until next time. This is all just to say that as you're going through change, a lot of shit's gonna happen. There will be people that try to bring you down. There will be systems that try to bring you down, but all you can do is focus on yourself, do your damn best, hope that things will get better as you do your best, and that, you know, the world out there will reward and, you know, recognize your hard work. And you just gotta, you know, do your damn best to shine, and you will be reborn into a star. The star that you and me both know that you can be. And we'll meet again in that time as the change undergoes. You know what I mean? That's kind of the whole thing. It's like a very much like a put a ribbon on the EP. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. It's a heavy world out there. But let's do that one too. Let's sing one last song then, huh? One last hurrah to the album. Thank you again to everybody who's been supporting it so far. I'm glad this song resonated with a bunch of people as well. I hope you guys enjoy the last song for the day. Fall Deep into the night sky, I gasp for breath and pinch my arm real tight. I call your name out, because nothing feels real without you standing by my side. Lost in a loop where I'm caught in the light. Look at the window, I'm bored of my flight, but just can't believe what's in front of my eyes. A dream or a curse, I wonder every night. Say it's alright, take my time day by day. I don't want to turn back to the times it was gray. The deepest of black and the ink from my veins going you on my back, know that I'll be okay. And I gotta be better, I know that I can't turn my back on the weather that never gets in, but the rain's getting wetter. It's under my skin as we move to the final hour. I don't know how to swim. Current events that I idolize, cover the sweat beneath my eyes. Think of my lucky stars that they can say that I'm still alive. Wish upon a star, no matter where you are. Cross my heart and hope to die. Cover my scars and hope to fly. I wish that I won't ever be apart from you. Moment of silence for all the kids out there that gave up on themselves before they were even old enough to have a chance. Sometimes the world ain't fair. Sometimes like your home is burning down and there's nothing you can do except for get out the way or get burnt. It's fucked up. Sunk cost fallacies, lost formalities, breaking out the cycle for my brain fucking atrophies. Every Joe and Michael try and entice you with them Ivy Leagues. Less you're fucking stupid, then it's trade school. Go do carpentry, stick people in these little boxes like it's alright. Asking kids to choose a path before they learn how to fight. And if he too dumb for math, then he could go clean your pipes. Is that really any way to value human life? But it's a game to these CEOs. They laughing in their mansions, maxing out the money long ago, need an expansion. 100 rags, pocket change, hide behind philanthropy, write it out for tax, holding everybody ransom. We gotta be the change, but the game's too big. Just a ripple in the ocean, grab the blade, can I swing? Everything in life is double-edged, some evils never fade, so only fight my own battles, staying in my lane, sorry. Wish upon a star, no matter where you are. Cross my heart and hope to die. Cover my scars and hope to fly. I wish that I won't ever be apart from you. I know it's a lot of people trying to gatekeep us out there, but just gotta put our heads down and grind for that better life. Pray for better times, you feel me? I know we'll meet again someday as reborn people. So go become the star we both know you can be. And don't look back. Till next time. Sorry, I know this song, I didn't do, this song I really need singing words for because it's really hard to do like the high range for it. Especially on like the head voice notes, like this stuff I'm really not good at without warm up. And it sounds kinda empty, but you know. you know. I hope you guys enjoyed the little live performances today anyway, and I hope you found a lot of insight in hearing me talk about everything. This was a really long project to work on. I spent about 5 months working on this whole EP. You know, it was very personal to me, and there's a lot of my story and my roots sort of ingrained in all of these songs. And so I'm really happy that some of it resonated with you guys, and that you guys were able to enjoy, you know, the sound of everything and, you know, the message behind some of these songs, you know, despite the fact that it's my first time actually making anything to put out. Thank you guys so much for the support on Starfinder. I'm really, really grateful. I'm really so grateful. I'm glad you liked it, Cheat. It means a lot to me. It really does mean a lot. Hear it coming from you, you know. I appreciate your taste in music a lot. And, you know, I'm really glad that you liked it. I actually made the schedule for next week in advance this time. I remembered. Yeah, I have more projects planned on the music side of things as well. It'll be quite a while before I actually get around to them. I want to make sure that I can get a part-time first so I can afford to keep doing more stuff. But I'll try and get some more like covers and stuff underway in the meantime as well. Of course, you know, it's been a while since I've given you guys a cover. Gotta work on that too. yeah, we're gonna do an Osu stream tomorrow. I've been enjoying playing some Osu. Heads up as well, by the way, the VOD is probably gonna go down. It's most likely gonna be an unarchived stream, just because it is almost certainly gonna have some copyrighted music on it. So make sure you come live for Osu if you want to see me popping off on the rhythm games. We'll probably do song requests on there as well if you guys wanna drop any songs that you like. You know, we can find maps and try and play it. It'll be fun. I think it's gonna be great. Yeah, dude, you gotta pull up, man. You gotta pull up. I need you to give me maps because I lost like 99% of my maps. So you can just like give me good maps to play. We're gonna do Plants vs Zombies. The inspiration for that, I don't know why I felt like playing this game again, but I found a random video that got recommended to me on YouTube. It was a mashup of one of the songs from the game with Ballin', and it was low-key fire, and I was like, yo, Plants vs Zombies is a kind of sick throwback game. I want to play it. So we're doing Plants vs Zombies on Wednesday. Pokemon VGC on Friday. Finally gonna get to see me play some competitive Pokemon. It's gonna be on like my new Switch profile, so I'm gonna literally be like baby tier rank 1 or something. But we're gonna see how close I can go up to master rank on Friday. I might just like super marathon it and go really deep. We'll see how long it takes. I'm still kind of labbing out what kind of team I want to bring, but I'm gonna pick something that at least lets me like steamroll bad players. So we can try and like just absolutely zoom up the ladder. And then on Saturday, we're going to bring Flash games back. We're going to do a part 2 for some of the games that we didn't manage to squeeze in. I wanted to do Learn to Fly 3. I wanted to do Sushi Cat. And I don't know. We'll figure out the rest. We'll plan it out. Maybe I'll do like the Flash version of one of the Bloons Tower Defense games or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's going to be throwback week. Yeah, throwback week, honestly. This is straight up just throwback week. But, thank you guys for all the support recently. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for all of the support on Starfinder. If any of you guys haven't listened to it, make sure you check out in the description. We've got links for YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever's your preference. I think it's also on like Amazon Music and like iTunes if for like the 3 people out there that don't like using YouTube Music, Spotify, or Apple Music. Make sure you check out my friend Vega. Let me put his channel in here again. Make sure you follow Vega. He's so talented. You guys, I swear, if you guys like the songs on Starfinder, I promise he's got something in there for you. He's got some really good songs. Yeah, thank you guys a lot for hanging out with me. We'll be back tomorrow with some Osu. So please be there 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye!